Well, good morning. Thank you for joining us for the 19th annual Think and Drive Stay Alive program. We are so excited to have you along for this awesome journey to learn not only how to stay safe behind the wheel, but also in everyday life. My name is Paisley Dunn, and this program would not be possible without our amazing sponsors. So we'd like to take a moment to thank them. First off, we have CH River Plains, South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, Pite Service Experts. We have Fisher Rounds and Associates, Avera St. Mary's Hospital, Peer Family Dental. We have Beck Motors. We have the Casey Tibbs South Dakota Rodeo Center, Dunes Golf, South Dakota Department of Transportation, and Dakota Prairie Bank. We would also like to take a second to thank our co-sponsors of the event. We have Coca-Cola Bottling, Peer Area Chamber of Commerce, Central Dakota Eye Care. We have Dakota Plains Federal Credit Union, Stolken, Lingau, Walti, and Jones LLP. Cool Spot, Red Rosa Italian Grill, Lariat Lanes, Richie's Eve's Barbecue, Brickhouse Barbecue, Cowboys Country Store, May Adams Law Firm, The Right Turn, Conrad Law Professionals LLC, Lee Real Estate, Golden Buffalo Casino, St. Peter and Paul's Catholic Church, Oahe Federal Credit Union, Pierre Regional Airport, and River Cities Public Transit. Thank you so much for making this program possible. Well, without further ado, we would like to hand things over to our very first speaker. We would like to offer Detective Elliot Harding with the Rapid City Police Department and Forensic Examiner Holly Standing from Pennington County Sheriff's Office the opportunity to talk about Investigative Crime Agency's Children's Task Force on Digital Safety.
My name is Detective Elliot Harding. I'm a detective with the Rapid City Police Department, and I work on the ICAC Task Force, which stands for Internet Crimes Against Children. So if there's a crime that has to do with the internet, right, and a juvenile, somebody under the age of 18, I investigate all those different types of crimes, but I cannot be successful on my own. So without further ado, Holly?
Everybody needs a lab rat, and that's what I am. My name is Holly Strand. All right, so our jobs, we work anything that has to do with the internet and kids. His job is to investigate. My job is to hang out in a computer lab and tear apart computers, phones, tablets, servers, anything that has electronic evidence. So we're just going to get started. Digital footprint. I'm a lab rat. I hang out in a lab. Right now, it is absolutely covered in evidence. I sit there, and people from Homeland Security, FBI, Ellsworth, state, tribal, local, federal law enforcement bring me evidence. Now, kind of an anomaly. We did 4 search warrants in 4 days last week, but most of the time, they just bring them to me. We don't actually go on site. When we do, is probably the only time I would meet a kid or I would meet an offender face to face. But this is the crazy part, is like, I take a phone, if I took your phone and I hooked it up to one of our $10,000 machines, I ran my forensic software, this is what I get to see. Online postings, social media, photos, videos, blogs, gaming activities, search engines, websites, and purchases. It's crazy. I can look through somebody's phone and I can tell you if they're a Republican, Democrat, or Independent. I can tell you if they're married, if they cheat, if they lie, if they cuss, if they smoke, if they drink, usually the size clothes, the size shoes, how many kids they have, if they're doing anything wrong, what they're curious about, every medical condition they think they might have. When I look through a kid's device, I know all their insecurities. I know the sites that they're visiting, the stuff that they're searching. There's absolutely nothing in there that I don't see. Now, I want you to think of something. We have that digital footprint on every electronic device we have, just on that device, and then everything uploads to the clouds, right? So we have a digital footprint with all our data online, and that's the data that is bought, traded, and sold every day. That's that knowledge is power kind of thing. So what happens? Now, I turned 44 this year. I don't really worry about my digital footprint, right? Anything that's there is done and over with. You guys have to worry about yours. Why? Because your parents are going to look at it, not just your parents, other people's parents, teachers, principals, and coaches. Let me ask you something. If you text something, post something, or something comes out, and another parent in this school finds out, is there a good chance that one of the teachers or the principal and everyone's going to find out? Especially in Rapid. We live in a very, very small world. Colleges and universities. All right, so I'm going to break this down. Who in here has an iPhone? Okay. To have an iPhone, you have an iCloud account. Anybody in here have Android? Okay. Means you have a Gmail account, which means you can have a bunch of fake accounts on your device, accounts your parents don't even know about, but it really doesn't matter because every single thing you do on it either comes back to one iCloud account or one Gmail account. Okay? Every single thing you do. So really, Google and Apple both openly say they collect all your data and they sell it to third-party people. They know how fast the speed limit is and how fast you're driving, how quickly you get up, how often you're waking up in the middle of the night, everything. Let's add to this. You download an app on your device. Is there anything in that app that says, I promise I won't sell your private messages? If I want to create an app and you guys like to use it, I'm going to give it to you for free. You're going to go to Apple or the Google Play Store and you're going to download it. And I'm going to let you download it for free. But guess what? In the small writing, what I'm exchanging my free app for is all your messages. So it shouldn't shock us when we have kids walking into college interviews with perfect 4.0s, letters of references, and then they walk in. We had one young man. If you were to look at the public profile, this kid looked like a saint. He sat down for his college interview and they said, you know, your letters of reference are phenomenal. 4.0, I mean, this is good stuff. He should have had a full scholarship. He said, 1, I don't think you can spell a word entirely when you text. 2, I don't think you can talk to your friends without using crude language. And 3, the word you've chosen to refer to your female classmates is appalling. Followed by, you have no place in our university. This is all kind of small print. Penn State dropped another prospect this morning due to his social media presence. Actually glad we got to see the real person before we offered him. SMU came across an awful Twitter account today. Shame the kid was a really good player. On to the next one, get a clue. We have kids that work incredibly hard for scholarships. That, I mean, work out, get the grades, they do everything right, and then they get on their computer and they wreck every opportunity they ever had by what they're searching and what they're posting. Employers are no different. Employers have realized that you could actually hire somebody and watch that moral compass unfold in the workplace, or you can just get to know them through their digital footprint. One employer said you can tell the caliber of the man by the way he speaks to his wife or girlfriend when he's mad. Does he cuss at her? Does he belittle her? Another one said you can tell the character of a woman by the way she speaks to her closest female friend. Does she talk about the look or appearance of other girls? She talk about their weight, their size? Because if you hire her, she'll do that to all the women in your business. It's starting to get scary, isn't it? I mean, it's almost like we are being sold this piece of data and then people get to look through it and decide our character. People that don't like us and people that we don't like. How many of you have heard stories of people going to the NFL or going out for something big and then what happens? Somebody's like, oh, look at their Twitter account. These guys, Laremy Tunsil and Josh Allen, these guys made it into the NFL. They're going out for it, and they pulled tweets from when they were 13 and 14 years old. There were teams that told them, you're an amazing player, but not on our team. Mistakes that they made when they were kids, they were turned down opportunities as adults. Strangers and online predators. Now, would you agree that in your world, your digital footprint has a life of its own? You guys are the generation, you have digital footprint like you were born with it. You have entire digitized medical records, dental records, school records, and whenever you started touching electronics when you were little is the day you started adding to your digital footprint.
So, at the beginning of the presentation, I told you I investigate a lot of different types of crimes that have to do with the internet and juveniles, somebody under the age of 18, and some of those crimes are pretty heinous. Unfortunately, one type of crime I do have to investigate is the crime of sexting. Sexting is the umbrella that captures everything. When a juvenile, again, somebody under the age of 18, takes a picture of themselves naked, or sends that picture to somebody, or maybe they receive a picture and they keep it. All right? Sexting is a crime. Juveniles are not allowed to take pictures of themselves nude. They're not allowed to send those pictures. And if they receive one, they are not allowed to keep it. That's against the law. I believe we have a video to kind of help illustrate this. Oh, so yeah, here we go. So in this case, this girl is getting a text from her boyfriend. And that text says something to the effect of, hey, send me a nude image. All right, so let me ask you. Should she be sending a nude image? Absolutely not. And that's the perfect answer. And you know what? In this example right here, she does it. And I guarantee that her life is better because of it. Unfortunately, that's not what we see in our cases. So we're going to show the example of her going into the bedroom or the bathroom because 99% of the time that's where it happens, usually at night. In this case, she takes that image and she sends it to her boyfriend here, who's with all his friends. So this guy gets it, and he's thinking, oh man, should I show my buddy? Should he show his buddies this picture? No, absolutely not. But always remember this. As soon as you send a picture or a video, you have absolutely no control as to where it could eventually end up. So he shows his buddies, and what happens? The buddy's like, oh man, send me that picture, right? Should he send that picture to them? Absolutely not. But again, remember that as soon as you hit send on a picture or a video, you have no control as to where it could eventually end up. And that's what's going to happen here. It's going to start flowing throughout the school because it gets traded. I had a case where this boy and this girl were dating, and we're going to talk about dating today with you guys here in a little bit. And he asks for that nude image of her, and she sent it. When I was done with that case, that one picture went 3 school districts worth of kids. It spread that fast. Do you think that's what she wanted to have happen with her one nude image? No, absolutely not. So a little bit before there, you probably saw the kid eating out of a cereal bowl. Maybe that's little brother who eventually gets the picture as to where those pictures could eventually end up. And who was that guy at the very end? Any guess? Not Dad. Predator, right? That's the fat, old, naked, bald, greasy guy living in his mom's basement, right? That's the internet. And if I am not fast enough as a detective to contain those pictures and eradicate them, that's where they eventually end up. And if they end up on the internet, they're incredibly difficult to get back. So yeah, that's the predator. That's where it eventually ends up. Okay, so now comes the part of the presentation where I have to go over cold, hard facts with you folks. Cold, hard facts. But I always preface it with this. Number 1, I genuinely care about each and every one of you in this room, or I wouldn't be doing this type of job, guaranteed. All right. Number 2, sometimes girls will ask boys for naked pictures. Sometimes. But most of the time, by an absolutely huge percentage, it's the boys asking the girls. So girls, I really need you to pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. And boys, I know you are not the guys that would do something like this, but I need you to continue listening as well because it could affect you in the future. All right, so girls, if a boy ever asks you for a naked picture, he does not care about you. He does not love you. And he sure as heck doesn't respect you. And you all deserve to be respected. All right? And again, guys, I know you're not the guys that would do this. But girls, please keep listening. Because you're pretty young still, and you have a lot of schooling to still do. And it is inevitable. It is inevitable, if it hasn't happened already, this is going to happen. Okay? This is life. But I am going to arm you. I'm going to prepare you. I am going to empower you to say no when it does happen. All right? So girls, I'm going to give you some examples of what you're going to hear from the boys. Not these boys, but boys. All right? So it's going to sound something like this. Baby, 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 baby. Wait a second. Are the boys still doing baby, baby, baby? That's not oh, okay. Well, now I'm embarrassed, right? I researched. I watched the MTV and the TRL and whatnot, and I thought the boys... I apologize, gentlemen. I'm the one who's now embarrassed. So, all right. Yeah, see, it's okay to laugh sometimes. So, you are going to hear this. Out of all seriousness, you're going to hear this. Hey, send me a naked picture, and I promise I won't show anybody. And girls, I'm here to tell you the truth. That is 100% a lie. 100% a lie. Okay? You're going to hear this. Hey, send me a naked picture, and I promise I'll delete it. And again, 100% a lie. In fact, unfortunately, this is what happens with these nude images. So we'll get a hold of his cell phone in some unrelated case, and we'll examine it. And yeah, unfortunately, maybe your nude image is on there. But so are the nude images of a bunch of other girls from other schools, because I am here to tell you that once these guys get a hold of these pictures, all they do is trade them with each other. They trade them. All right? So let me just break it down like this. Your worth to them, what you are worth to them, is reduced down to nothing more than a trading card. And I am here to tell you that you are worth so much more than that. You are worth so much more than that, ladies. You're going to hear this. Hey, send me a nude image or I'm going to hurt myself. And I know that seems crazy, but all of this that I'm telling you are just forms of manipulation, right? These are just forms of manipulation that you must be aware of. But you are not obligated to take images of yourself and to send them to anybody just because they said they're going to hurt themselves. What you're going to do instead is you're going to get a hold of some trusted adult, whoever that may be. They'll get us involved. I'll be more than happy to go knock on his door and find out if he's really going to hurt himself. But remember, you are not obligated to ever take these pictures and to send them to anybody just because they said they're going to hurt themselves. And remember, I don't just pull these examples out of the sky. This is from working, I don't even know how many sexting cases. And here's the deal, ladies. He's not going to be honest with you when he's manipulating you to get these pictures. But when he's in that office with me, he'll be honest. And that's how I learn about all this stuff. I had this one girl in my office, in fact. I asked her, hey, why did you take a nude image of yourself and send it to these two boys? And she said, because those boys were giving me the attention that I was seeking. And you know what? I get it. I get it. Because it doesn't matter if you're a kid. It doesn't matter if you're an adult. But we all want the attention of somebody that we think that we like. But girls, I'm here to tell you the truth. The boys will say anything and everything that you want to hear just to get a hold of these images. Always remember that. All right? Okay. So you're gonna hear this. That popular kids are sending these images. So therefore, I feel like I need to send these images. So let's talk about popularity for just a little bit, right? You can ask any adult in this room. When we're done, go home and talk to your parents, talk to these adults here, because they're going to echo the same thing that I'm about to tell you. I get it. When you're going through school, middle school, junior high, high school, it may seem like, maybe, that popularity is important. It might seem like that. And it gets progressively worse as you continue through school. But any adult in this room will tell you that once you get out of school, the popularity that you had in school, it means absolutely nothing. It means absolutely nothing. It doesn't carry over into adulthood. And I will throw myself under the bus as an example. So when I was growing up, right, I had braces. Now, it's not a big deal, braces, not a big deal. I had headgear. Do you know what headgear is? Yeah? Do you know what 80s headgear is? Right? It's this monstrosity that sits on your face, right? I was super skinny. I had absolutely horrible acne all over my face. I had this long, flowing mullet, right? I played Dungeons and Dragons. So let me ask you, when I was in junior high, was I a popular kid? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. But I can stand before you today as a successful detective that truly does care about each and every one of you in this room. And Holly and I, our team, ICAC, man, we catch the worst of the worst when it comes to bad guys, and we put them away for a very, very, very long time. And popularity had absolutely nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing to do with it. So, make your own decisions and don't allow somebody else to sway those decisions for you. All right, so just to recap, why are young people sexting? Because to be funny, to impress a crush, to show loyalty or love. Remember what I said. He's got to make you feel loved, cared for, and respected. Forms of manipulation prior to asking for those pictures. Be on the lookout for it. Part of dating, we got to talk about this, unfortunately. Dating today, the reason why I bring this up is because when we were growing up, the adults, right, we didn't have the internet. And I know you can't fathom that, right? But if there was a girl that I had a crush on, right, and we were going to date to find out if we wanted to have this relationship, what would we have to do back in the olden days? We would have to go to the soda fountain, right, or the park or a movie or invite each other over for dinner to determine, do we want to continue this relationship? Unfortunately, with young people today, the definition of dating is to send these images back and forth, okay? You cannot build a strong, healthy, long-lasting relationship doing that. You just can't, all right? We have to keep chivalry alive as long as possible. Pressured by friends, boyfriends, girlfriends, and again, gentlemen, like I said, I know you would never do something like this, but let me leave you with this. If there's a girl that you think you care about, if there's a girl that you think maybe you feel like you're in love with her, if you respect her, you would never ever ask for these types of pictures. And again, gentlemen, I know you're not the ones that would do something like this. So we got to stay in control. Don't take images you wouldn't want your parents, friends, strangers, or others to see.
So if I were to stand up here in front of you and I took a picture with my cell phone, like I just took a selfie right now, and I don't look at the picture, I just hold the power button down. I don't upload it. I don't even know what it looks like. I didn't open an app. I didn't send it. I didn't do anything with it, right? Turn off my phone and I go back to my computer and I open up Facebook or Instagram or any of those social networking apps. What's there? The picture, right? If I run over my phone in the parking lot and it's totally, I cannot get anything off of it, and I go buy another Android device and I sign in with my Gmail account, what is there? Everything. There's not a single thing that you can do on an electronic device that is private. Every single thing we do is backed up into a cloud. I'm going to push this a little bit further. People say, well, I didn't send it or I didn't share it. We had a young girl. Elliot was talking about how the companies look through the pictures and videos and conversations, right? So you have a young girl. She takes a picture with Snapchat. Snapchat is doing their little age and skin filter, and they hit it. And they said, we have a girl, 12 to 15 years old, IP address comes back to Rapid City. At this point, she has taken the picture. She has not sent it. Now, one of our cohorts knocks on her parents' door and says, hey, we got this picture of your daughter. And she's adamant. She said, I took the picture, but I did not send it. I didn't share it. And Barnes is looking and says, well, I have your naked picture right here in a folder. So if I have it, just because you took it with a smart device meant you shared it. If you take a picture or video with a smart device, you have shared it with a server. Just keeping that in mind, if you don't want somebody to see it. When you think about sin, the only way you don't have somebody find out about your sin is to not commit it. I mean, that's truly the only way, especially when it comes to technology.
Awesome. Thanks, Holly. Don't forward anyone else's image. Let me ask you, can you always control what somebody's going to send you? No, you can't control that. Just one day you're walking down the hall and all of a sudden, bing! Oh my gosh, it's little Jimmy and he's totally naked. Right? But you didn't ask for this picture. Somebody just sent it to you because you can't control what people are sending you. So let me ask you. Let's say, for example, you are that juvenile. You didn't ask for it because that would be wrong. But let's say you get that inappropriate picture on your phone. What should you do? Delete it? That's a good answer. What else? Tell someone. Those are the two answers that we always hear, and they're perfect answers. So let's talk about that for just a second. Deleting it, not the worst answer in the world. It's a good answer. We don't want that garbage on our phone, right? So if you delete it, no harm, no foul. But the best answer is to tell somebody about it. Because in that way we can get involved and find out who that individual is. Because if he's doing it to you, he's probably doing it to somebody else as well. Don't ask for or pressure anyone for an image. And don't start the habit. The reason why I bring this up is, if you know anybody that is currently engaging in this inappropriate activity as a young person, and let's say we either don't stop doing it, or we don't deal with it properly, etc., and we're going to keep doing it, right? Now, if we keep doing something over a long period of time, what does that become? A habit. So now let's fast forward. Well, now we're 18 years old. We're 19 years old. All right? And we're still, sharing these images back and forth. That's where adults start finding themselves going to prison for long periods of time because we didn't deal with things properly when we were a kid. We've had cases just like that. It's a sad deal. All right? And always ask for help if needed.
In the end, you're going to decide.
Well, thank you. We will be back with our next segment after this short break. We appreciate you listening to the Think and Drive Stay Alive 2021 program.
There are multiple post-secondary institutions in the state of South Dakota that offer journalism and communication programs. Those are Black Hills State University, Dakota Wesleyan University, Augustana University, University of South Dakota, Dakota State University, University of Sioux Falls, and South Dakota State University. There's even a Society of Broadcast Engineers that provides resources for students interested in the technology side of the business. For more information on radio broadcasting, you can visit the South Dakota Broadcasters Association's website.
Thank you for taking the time to watch the 19th annual Think and Drive Stay Alive program. We hope that you're able to take away some life skills that will set you up for success. And for taking the time to educate yourself further, we would like to give you a chance to win one of several Amazon skill-enabled smart speakers. It's easy to register to win. All you have to do is go to drgnews.com. From our homepage, you'll see a tab that says Stations. Hover over the tab and then click on KGFX, KPLO, River 92.7, or 100.1 The Eagle. On any of those pages, you'll see a scrolling slider that says Think and Drive Stay Alive at the top of the page. If you click on that, you'll be able to go back and watch the video. Under the video, you'll see a red banner that says click here to register to win one of several Amazon smart speakers. Click on that and that will redirect you to our contest page. If you aren't already a member of our website, you'll need to create an account. Creating an account is easy to do. All we need is your name, email address, and some basic information about you. We won't use this information for anything other than to contact you if you are selected as one of our winners. During this sign-up process, you'll get an activation email sent to the email you've provided. If you don't get an activation email sent within a few minutes, check your spam folder. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us with the Contact Us form on the homepage at drgnews.com. After your account is created, you can log into the contest. You'll need to once again fill out some basic information about yourself. We even want to know what Think and Drive segment was your favorite and why. To be entered to win, you need to fill out the form completely. Submit the form, and if you're randomly selected as one of our winners, we'll contact you. Again, feel free to reach out to us with any questions you may have. And thank you for participating in the 19th Annual Think and Drive Stay Alive program.
More than just a highway worker, someone's everything. Slow down, give him a break.
Welcome back to the 2021 Think and Drive Stay Alive program brought to you by DRG Media Group. We would like to go ahead and hand things over to Trooper Moses with the South Dakota Highway Patrol to talk about safety behind the wheel.
Thank you, Paisley. Like she said, my name is Trooper Jordan Moses. I'm with the South Dakota Highway Patrol. I've been a trooper now for just about 2 years, and I'm here to talk to you today about what we can do on the roadways to be a better driver. A little bit about myself. I'm originally from Minnesota. I was in the U.S. military for about 6 years, and those are my two dogs, Dakota and Nix, my fiance. And we moved here from Minnesota about 2 years ago so that I could pursue my career in law enforcement. So these are the things that we're going to be going over today. We're going to be talking about our seatbelts, driving under the influence, what we can do to prevent crashes, and then also our speed as well. A new thing that we're also going to be going over is our texting and driving law, since that recently just changed within the last year. It is now a stiffer fine, and so we want to make sure that everybody is aware of what we can do to stay off our cell phone and what is allowed inside the vehicle when it comes to our cell phone usage. So seatbelts. Seatbelts. They're a big thing here in South Dakota. It's one of the lead reasons why people end up passing or dying within our crashes is people not wearing their seatbelts. It's a simple thing to do. And we'll go over a little bit about what we do to make sure that people do wear their seatbelts. This is actually from a vehicle that I investigated a crash on this last winter. It was south on 83. The vehicle did roll. Luckily, nobody passed as a result of the crash, but as you can clearly see, the seatbelts were buckled and they were just sitting in the vehicle. That is obviously not what we want here in South Dakota. It's a big issue. Driving under the influence. So we're going to talk about our BAC percentage if you're 21 years of age and older, and then more specifically with the audience that we have today, that BAC is a lot lower compared to adults. So we want to make sure that nobody's out here drinking, driving, and more importantly, drug driving. Now that drugs are more common, unfortunately, here in South Dakota, we want to make sure that nobody's out here taking drugs and then driving under the influence that way as well. Sobriety tests. If you get stopped and we think that you're under the influence, we're going to ask you to go through our field sobriety tests. Vehicular battery and vehicular homicide, those are big. If you're under the influence, you can be charged with either one of these. And those are felonies, so you're going to end up doing some jail time when it comes down to those charges as well. So most, if not all, crashes have somebody that's going to be at fault. We, throughout our investigation of all crashes that we take part of, we make sure that we can try and find somebody who is possibly at fault. Even though we don't specifically say, hey, you're at fault, insurance agencies and your parents are going to wonder who is at fault during that crash. Reporting and accident statistics. So every crash that we investigate gets reported to the state. It's all public record. People can go see who was involved in crashes and figure out what the cause of that crash was. So we make sure that all of our reporting is very accurate, and in order to do that, we conduct thorough investigations of all crashes. Our move over law, this is something that the Highway Patrol and the Department of Public Safety is hitting on huge. People stop on the side of the road all the time, whether they need to change a tire or, let the kids out, talk on a cell phone, let their dogs out. Basically, if you see somebody on the side of the road, you need to move over, or at least slow down to at least 20 miles an hour below the posted speed limit. This is for not only the safety of the people that are passing, but it's also for the safety of the people on the side of the road. We take this very seriously. We've had troopers, tow truck drivers, semi-truck drivers that have been hit on the side of the road, and it's a simple thing that can be fixed within our roadways. So between 2010 and today, 20 highway patrol vehicles have been struck by other motorists as they were in the process of assisting roadside emergencies. So we want to see that number reduced to 0, if at all possible. And the only way that we can do that is get our message out to everybody, and we harp on that big time on our social media. Everybody's got to at least slow down. If you can't move over, and if at all possible, you need to move over. So this is our most recent patrol vehicle that was struck. This was out in Sioux Falls. He was simply out on a motorist assist out on the interstate. A driver failed to move over and slow down, and the patrol car was struck at highway speeds. Luckily, the trooper and the recruit that were in the vehicle, they made it, barely any injuries, but this is just some of the damage that can be accrued when you don't move over. This is what we're trying to prevent: fatal crashes. This is why we're out on the roadways every day. This is what we need to prevent: fatal crashes. Luckily, we have a sign here. I included a picture. These signs are all over South Dakota roadways, and it's a very unfortunate sign. These signs indicate that this is where a fatality crash has happened. The more signs that are there, the more people that have passed at that location. This is what we're trying to prevent. Move over, slow down, pay attention to the roadway. Don't drive under the influence. Wear your seatbelt. So our injury and fatal crashes, these are the 3 main things that result in fatalities: excessive speed, driving under the influence, not wearing your seatbelt. All things that are easily preventable if you pay attention to the posted speed limits on the roadways. Wear your seatbelt, and above all else, don't drive under the influence of any alcohol or drugs. So let's talk a little bit more about speed. 375 drivers that were involved in our traffic crashes were speeding, and we can find that out whether the person admits it to us, or if we gotta get down and dirty and figure out the math ourselves. We can do that as well. Of those 22 drivers that are involved in fatal crashes, those were also speed related. So slow down, make sure we're paying attention to the posted speed limit. What is impaired driving? It's operating a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol, narcotics, prescription medication, or over-the-counter drugs. So I think a big thing, especially with the demographic that we're projecting to, is the over-the-counter drugs. Your acetaminophen, your Tylenol, ibuprofen. If you take too much of that for whatever reason and you're impaired and we can prove that, you can be charged with driving under the influence. It's the most frequently committed violent crime in America, and that's a statistic from 2003. So a vast majority of the time, people who drive under the influence won't get caught until their 10th time driving under the influence. So we do our best to detect that impairment and stop those motorists. Chances are they've already done it in the past and we just haven't caught them. Roughly 16,000 Americans die each year in alcohol-related crashes. Nearly 600,000 Americans are injured in alcohol-related crashes. And every day, 28 people die in alcohol-related crashes. So it's super simple to do. Make sure you don't drink and drive. This was one crash. This was before my time, but this is one of the pictures that they harped on the most while I was in training. This person was well respected in their community. It was a big deal. They wanted to make sure that everybody knew why this crash happened, and that's because the person in question was underneath the influence and was not wearing a seatbelt. So when you have those two combinations and you lose control of that vehicle, it's going to result more than likely in a fatality. So we have some 2019 statistics. 488 crashes in the state of South Dakota were alcohol related. 18.4% of all crash incidents had no seatbelt use, which resulted in injuries. Now, when you're not wearing your seatbelt, a big question that I get is, am I always going to die? That's not always the case. These crashes can be what seem minor, but you're going to have complications if you're not wearing your seatbelt 10, 15 years down the line, and you're going to wonder why your back hurts or why your neck hurts. It's because you're not wearing a seatbelt during a crash that happened years prior. And those signs may come early, they may come late, but it's all a result of not wearing your seatbelt. Of those 707 injury crashes, 76 of them resulted in fatalities. This is why we have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to not only driving under the influence, but our seatbelts. If you get stopped and you're not wearing your seatbelt, we're going to address it 100% of the time, just so that we get our message across that, hey, we take this very seriously and we want everybody to wear seatbelts while they're on the roadway. What does alcohol do to your body? It slows your reaction time, impairs your judgment, your vision, impairs the person's ability to complete numerous tasks at the same time. So driving is a very complex task, okay? We want to make sure that if you're under the influence that you can not complete those tasks. If you're under the influence and you're trying to drive, you got to think about the things that you're doing while you're driving. You're paying attention to the road, you're paying attention to other motorists, you're paying attention to people that may be inside your own vehicle. You're talking on the phone. These are things that you can't do while you're under the influence of alcohol or drugs or at high speeds. So we need to make sure that, again, nobody's out here drinking and driving. It affects the person's ability to process information. That kind of goes hand in hand with being under the influence. If you have somebody that's coming up to an intersection and they run a stop sign or they run a red light, your body can't process that time. It can't see that information. So you're going to end up resulting in a crash here. DUI laws. No person may drive or be in actual physical control of any vehicle while there's a 0.08 BAC, which is your blood alcohol concentration, in that person's blood, under the influence of marijuana or any controlled drug or substance which renders that person incapable of safely driving, and under the combined influence of any alcohol, marijuana, or any controlled drug or substance. So again, you can't be under the influence of anything, and we want to make sure that nobody's out here doing that. whether that's over-the-counter drugs, again, like acetaminophen, ibuprofen. I mean, little things like that, it affects everybody differently, so we want to make sure that everybody's sober. DUI punishment. Your first one is a Class 1 misdemeanor, which is punishable up to 1 year in jail and or a $1,000 fine. Now, if you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, that's a long time. That's a lot of money. Your parents aren't going to be too thrilled about that. Here's our zero tolerance. Notice up at the top there the difference in your blood alcohol content. 0.08 is for adults. 0.02 is for juveniles. So everybody here out here that's going to be driving here within the next couple of years. It's illegal for anybody who is under the age of 21 to drive, operate, or be in the actual physical control of a motor vehicle. If that person has a BAC of 0.02, that person has consumed marijuana or any controlled drug or substance. I think a big thing that we need to harp on here is physical control of the vehicle. Say you leave your friend's house and you go park in a parking lot, and we roll up on you and we start asking you questions, and you're in the driver's seat with the key in the ignition. You're in physical control of that vehicle. You don't have to be driving on the roadway to get charged with driving under the influence. You just have to be in physical control of that vehicle. For everybody here that's got a restricted minor's permit or is a juvenile, driver's license shall be suspended for a period of 6 months for a first offense or 1 year for any second or subsequent offense. That is for our zero tolerance. So if you get charged with that zero tolerance, you have at least 6 months of not having your driver's license, which means that all that freedom that you have, you know, going to practice, going to a friend's house, that's gone. You got to rely back on your parents. And any subsequent offense after that is 1 year. I know when I was a kid, I couldn't imagine not having my driver's license for 1 year. That's quite a long time. It's a Class 2 misdemeanor for your zero tolerance DUIs, and that's 30 days in jail and a $200 fine. Now, just because you're a juvenile doesn't mean that you can't be charged with what we call a big boy DUI. So if you get stopped and you're 0.08 and above, you're not getting a zero tolerance DUI. You're going to be getting a regular DUI, and you're going to be charged accordingly that way. So you got to make sure you know the difference between the punishments and the fines. What will happen upon your arrest? You will go to jail if you're charged with the big boy DUI. Either way, you're going to be going to the Juvenile Services Center. For this area, it's located at the Hughes County Jail. You will be asked to submit to a blood and or urine test. You'll have to call your parents. We're going to make you call your parents, and nobody wants to make that phone call. And they'll have to come pick you up. Obviously, we got the fines and punishments. Your driver's license will be taken away. Your parents' insurance rates are going to go up, and the embarrassment of being in trouble. Fortunately, in this area, it's a small town. I feel like everybody knows everybody, and if you get arrested for driving under the influence, it doesn't take long for that word to spread around town. Seatbelts. What's your excuse for not wearing it? I hear countless excuses every day of, well, it's uncomfortable, I have a shoulder problem, I have back problems, I just don't like wearing it. Everybody's got their own excuse. I'm a good driver. That's great. You can be the best driver in the world, but that doesn't mean that everybody around you is a good driver as well. I'm just driving around town. That's great. 25 mile an hour crash can still cause some pretty good injuries to you. Whether you're hitting your head on the windshield, the steering wheel, any side windows, if there's anything in your car that can become a projectile, those are huge. So just because you're driving around town at slow speeds doesn't mean that you can't get hurt in these crashes. Again, seatbelts are too uncomfortable. I don't want to be trapped in a fire underwater. Less than 0.5% of these crashes actually end up being on fire or submerged in like a drainage pond or something like that. So there's really no excuse. You have a better likelihood of getting struck by lightning than ending up in a crash in a fire or underwater. Restricts my freedom of movement. without your seatbelt, without your safety belt, you have all the freedom in the world to crash into your windshield or be thrown from your car and slide along the pavement. And if everybody's had skinned knees or anything like that, playing baseball or whatever, those skinned knees, you got to think a hard concrete surface is going to do a lot more damage than just wearing your seatbelt. Buckling up takes too long. This is one that I hear all the time. It takes too long for me to buckle my seatbelt. And I tell people straight up, I am in and out of my car anywhere between 5 and 25 times a shift on various calls, making traffic stops, and I'm always buckling my seatbelt. It takes less than 2.5 seconds to do, and I'm back on my way. It's the first thing I do when I get into not only my patrol car, but my personal vehicle as well. It's not like I'm breaking the law or anything. I have yet to have this excuse, but I'm waiting for the day that it is, because then you can break out statutes and say, no, this is against the law. You need to wear your seatbelt. Unfortunately, it is not a primary offense here in the state of South Dakota. Your passengers can be ticketed too. So you need to make sure that if you're the driver and you're in physical control of that vehicle, look at your passengers. Everybody needs to be wearing a seatbelt, especially if you're under the age of 18 and in the back seat. I know a lot of kids sometimes think that just because they're in the back seat, they don't have to be wearing their seatbelt. That's wrong. If you're under the age of 18, you need to be wearing your seatbelt. So, why are we wearing our seatbelts? Every motor vehicle crash has 3 different types of collisions that occur during that crash. So we have the actual car versus car, right? That's what a crash is. It's car versus car. But then you have the human collision. So if you're wearing your seatbelt, your body hitting that locked seatbelt, that's called a human collision. And then you have all your soft insides. That's called your internal collision. So that's where all that injury, you have 3 different stages of a crash that can result in injury. The car's collision, like I said, that's your car versus car. This is the fastest time during that crash. It is 1/10 of a second. Here we got some seatbelt facts. Teens have the highest fatality rate in motor vehicle crashes among any age group. Now, part of this is just not knowing how to drive, not being a good driver in and of itself. Maybe you haven't received a good training, but you guys are the ones that are the highest rate of not wearing your seatbelts. This is why we address it 100% of the time. When you don't wear your seatbelt, you increase your chances of being ejected from the vehicle. Unbelted occupants are 4 times more likely to die if they are thrown from a car than if they remained inside. You have a very, very good chance of not only receiving serious bodily injury, but dying from being thrown from a motor vehicle. Without wearing a seatbelt at 35 miles an hour is equivalent to falling from a 3-story window. Just because you're driving around town, it's the 35 mile an hour speed limit all the way through town, doesn't mean that you're not going to feel those effects of hitting another vehicle. Buckle up every trip, every time. So I'm not going to read the whole thing here. Basically, what our new texting and driving law boils down to is don't be on your phone unless you're dialing 911, contacting emergency services. If you need to do that stuff, pull off to the side of the road, if at all applicable. Can't be on social media anymore. Can't be driving around, Snapchatting your friends, scrolling through Facebook. This is a primary offense now in the state of South Dakota, so if we see you on your cell phone while you're driving, we're going to stop you, and we're going to address that accordingly. We've already talked about the fatality markers here. Look around town. There are some within the city limits of Pierre, within the city limits of Fort Pierre. If you drive 5-10 miles east of Weston Town, you're going to see these markers. So, in conclusion here, wear your seatbelt. Don't drive impaired under the influence of anything. Wear your seatbelt. No texting, limiting the talk on your cell phone. All these statistics that we talked about today comes from South Dakota Accident Records. Again, my name is Trooper Moses. Thank you guys for your time, and I'm going to pass it back to Paisley.
Thank you, Trooper Moses. Man, that was very impactful and we learned a lot. We are going to take a short break really fast and then we'll be back with our next segment of the 2021 Think and Drive Stay Alive program.
More than just a highway worker, someone's everything. Slow down, give him a break.
Thank you for taking the time to watch the 19th Annual Think and Drive Stay Alive program. We hope you take away life skills that will set you up for success. For you taking the time to educate yourself further, we'd like to give you a chance to win one of several Amazon skill-enabled smart speakers. And it's super easy to win. All you have to do is go to drgnews.com. From our homepage, you'll see a tab that says Stations. Click on that and select either KGFX, KPLO, or the Eagle page. On whatever station page you pick, you'll see a scrolling slider that says Think and Drive, Stay Alive at the top of the page. If you click on that, you're going to be able to go back and watch the video. Under the video, you're going to find a red banner that says click here to register to win one of several Amazon smart speakers. When you click on that, you'll get redirected to our contest page. If you aren't already a member of our website, you'll have to create an account. And it's super simple and easy to do. All we need is your name, email address, and some basic information from you. We won't use this information for anything other than to contact you if you are selected as one of our winners. During the sign-up process, you'll get an activation email sent to the email you provided us. Some people have had the activation email go into their spam folder, so if you don't see an activation email within a few minutes, check your spam folder. If you have any issues at all, please feel free to reach out to us with the Contact Us form on the homepage of drgnews.com. After your account is created, you can log into the contest. You're going to have to once again fill out some basic information about yourself. We even want to know which segment was your favorite and why it was your favorite. The only way you will be entered to win is if all the fields are completely filled out, so make sure you do that. Submit that form, and if you are randomly selected as one of our winners, we'll reach out and contact you. Please feel free to reach out to us with any questions you might have. And again, thank you for participating in the 19th Annual Think and Drive Stay Alive program.
Today's forecast is a high of 72 with no bugs, clear skies, and a calm political climate. Join us for more news tomorrow when an extra hour will be...
Seatbelts work, so death doesn't.
There are multiple post-secondary institutions in the state of South Dakota that offer journalism and communication programs. Those are Black Hills State University, Dakota Wesleyan University, Augustana University, University of South Dakota, Dakota State University, University of Sioux Falls, and South Dakota State University. There's even a Society of Broadcast Engineers that provides resources for students interested in the technology side of the business. For more information on radio broadcasting, you can visit the South Dakota Broadcasters Association's website.
Welcome back to another segment of our 2021 Think and Drive Stay Alive program. At this time, we would like to bring to the stage our final segment presented by Jenna Bucock, presenting from Program Manager at the South Dakota Department of Social Services, and Jessica Shellcraft from Capital Area Counseling. Let's welcome them to the stage now.
Thank you. My name is Jana, and this is Jessica here with me, and we're here to talk to you about youth suicide prevention and how you can be the one to change someone's mind. The easiest way to find out if someone is in crisis is to ask, but even someone who appears happy on the outside could be experiencing a crisis. Here are some signs to watch for. Talk about suicide or dying. Examples could include, I'd rather be dead, or I just don't want to be here anymore. Talking about being a burden to others. Oftentimes people feel suicide is selfish, and people who take their life aren't thinking of others. The reality is that when someone is thinking about suicide, they're often thinking of the burden they place on everyone around them. Withdrawing or aggression after a breakup or painful event, disturbing posts on social media, or even a sudden shutdown of accounts, concerning texts or tweets. So how can you help? If you see or hear signs that someone you know could be considering suicide, be the one to reach out. You don't have to know what to say something. It's okay to ask, are you thinking about suicide? Asking in this direct, non-judgmental manner can open the door for effective conversation. Don't dismiss or judge. You don't have to offer advice. Just listen. Be there physically or by phone. Don't commit to anything you're not willing to be able to accomplish. If you are unable to be physically present with someone who is having thoughts of suicide, talk with them to develop some ideas for others who might be able to help as well. Rally support, contact family, friends, teachers, coaches, and church members, and help them build a network. Share this number, 1-800-273-TALK or 8255. Check in on a regular basis. Continue to show your care. Have a plan in place if you can't reach them. If you notice someone who may be contemplating suicide, be the one to show you care. It doesn't have to be much, but it just might be enough to save a life. Here are some ways you can show you care. Listen, ask if they're okay, ask if they're thinking about suicide, invite them to hang out, find them in the hallway, share your concern with a parent, teacher, or counselor, or other trusted adult. Sit by them, friend them on social media, and shoot them a text.
Thank you, ladies. We will be back after this short break. You are listening to the 2021 Think and Drive Stay Alive program.
There are multiple post-secondary institutions in the state of South Dakota that offer journalism and communication programs. Those are Black Hills State University, Dakota Wesleyan University, Augustana University, University of South Dakota, Dakota State University, University of Sioux Falls, and South Dakota State University. There's even a Society of Broadcast Engineers that provides resources for students interested in the technology side of the business. For more information on radio broadcasting, you can visit the South Dakota Broadcasters Association's website.
It was me and the boys just driving around, everybody having fun, everybody getting down. Then I saw something crazy, I couldn't help but say, bro, you better buckle up because dying is lame. Let's click it and kick it. When you're giving a ride, you better click it and kick it. Don't be a fool, man. Click it and kick it. Put your seatbelt on, dude. Click it and kick it, cause dying ain't cool. Click it and kick it. 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 Click it, click it, click it and kick it. When we run around town, we click it and kick it.
Thank you for taking the time to watch the 19th annual Think and Drive Stay Alive program. We hope that you're able to take away some life skills that will set you up for success. And for taking the time to educate yourself further, we would like to give you a chance to win one of several Amazon skill-enabled smart speakers. It's easy to register to win. All you have to do is go to drgnews.com. From our homepage, you'll see a tab that says Stations. Hover over the tab and then click on KGFX, KPLO, River 92.7, or 100.1 The Eagle. On any of those pages, you'll see a scrolling slider that says Think and Drive Stay Alive at the top of the page. If you click on that, you'll be able to go back and watch the video. Under the video, you'll see a red banner that says Click here to register to win one of several Amazon smart speakers. Click on that and that will redirect you to our contest page. If you aren't already a member of our website, you'll need to create an account. Creating an account is easy to do. All we need is your name, email address, and some basic information about you. We won't use this information for anything other than to contact you if you are selected as one of our winners. During this sign-up process, you'll get an activation email sent to the email you've provided. If you don't get an activation email sent within a few minutes, check your spam folder. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us with the Contact Us form on the homepage at drgnews.com. After your account is created, you can log into the contest. You'll need to once again fill out some basic information about yourself. We even want to know what Think and Drive segment was your favorite and why. To be entered to win, you need to fill out the form completely. Submit the form, and if you're randomly selected as one of our winners, we'll contact you. Again, feel free to reach out to us with any questions you may have. And thank you for participating in the 19th Annual Think and Drive Stay Alive program.
More than just a highway worker, someone's everything. Slow down, give him a break.
Welcome back to Think and Drive Stay Alive program brought to you by DRG Media Group. Once again, we would like to welcome back Jenna Bukoff and Jessica Shellcraft to finish up their portion of the program.
If you or someone you know is thinking about suicide, there are resources available here in South Dakota. The Helpline Center's Text for Hope program provides crisis texting support for all high school students in the state of South Dakota. With a simple text, individuals can connect with professionally trained staff to receive support and resources. Students can text I CARE to 898-211 to reach Helpline Center staff. Help is available 24/7. In addition, these hotlines are also available. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress. Call 1-800-273-TALK or 8255. The crisis text line is here for any crisis. The crisis counselor will help you move from a hot moment to a cool moment. Text hello to 741-741, also available via Facebook Messenger. The Helpline Center is the only call center of its kind in South Dakota, answering the lifeline for calls that originate in South Dakota, and they are the 211 provider for the state, a central database providing up-to-date information, assistance, and finding good or other basic essentials and providing crisis support. Available statewide by dialing 211 or texting your zip code to 898-211. The Trevor Project provides 24/7 support for LGBTQ youth. If you are a young person in crisis, feeling suicidal, or in need of a safe and judgment-free place to talk, call the Trevor Lifeline now at 1-866-488-7386. Suicide prevention apps are one way that you can take control into your own hands. The Jason Foundation, A Friend Asks, is a free app by the suicide prevention group Jason Foundation. It aims to teach its users how to recognize the signs that someone close to them may be thinking about suicide and how to reach out to them proactively. The My3 app, While a Friend Asks, focuses on training users to recognize the signs of suicide ideation in others. The My3 app is targeted squarely at those who are experiencing depression or suicide themselves. My3 aims to keep you connected to your core network, asking you to choose 3 close contacts such as friends, family, loved ones, or your therapist. In addition, My3 helps you build your own safety plan, asking you to think through a list of your own warning signs, coping strategies, and support network. The Stay Alive app is designed for people who have been thinking of taking their life. It helps users to create a safety plan with action steps. Users identify people and places that calm them. It includes a life box feature where people can fill their box with inspirational quotes or pictures. They can also include breathing exercise and grounding techniques to reference as needed. In addition, these grounding and calming apps are a great way to find coping skills of your own. Calm is a meditation app that helps teach users ways to calm their body and ease their mind. Mood Kit utilizes games and activities to help people improve their mood, and Breathe to Relax helps the user build breathing skills they can use when they need to relax and calm the mind and body. Life Armor contains an assessment tool that helps users identify feelings of depression or post-traumatic stress. Resources are available. For more information on how you can step in, visit BeTheOneSD.com.
So here are some community resources that are available for people, but I'll get to those. I just wanted to kind of talk about why does suicidal Why does suicide happen? Why do suicidal thoughts happen? And can it get better? Is there hope out there? So many people just think that suicide is caused by someone being depressed, but that's simply not true. Suicide can be caused by a number of different factors. So maybe a living situation, maybe a big life change, relationship problems, mental health problems, maybe problems in school. There's a number of things, maybe basic needs not being met. So it's not just about being depressed and sad. It's about a lot more than that. And suicidal thoughts are common among youth. So in 2019, 23.1% of South Dakota high school students significantly considered suicide. 23.1. So if it's not you that has experienced it, it's probably someone that you know. So it's common. Suicidal thoughts do improve with counseling and support. So we know taking that first step is the hardest part, but they do improve with counseling and support. And I have people who ask me, well, what is it like going to counseling? That makes me kind of nervous thinking about going in and talking with a stranger. The nice thing about counseling is you get to go into a place and talk with someone who is not involved in the situation. They're not there to judge you. They're there to simply listen and understand your perspective and your point of view, and hopefully explore some different skills that you can use to manage or change the factors that are causing the suicidal ideation for you. So again, counseling just provides that support and someone to listen without judgment to you. So where can I get help locally? We have 8 different agencies in town. I think that's pretty amazing for a small community such as ours. Many of them offer telehealth, so some people are not comfortable coming into a traditional office setting. Some of us even come into schools and see you if that's something that you're comfortable with. We have lots of different options. Some students say, well, doesn't it cost a lot? We have programs available. Different agencies, along with capillary counseling, do have some different programs that are available to help with the cost of services, and they might be at actually no cost to you and your family. So don't let the cost be a barrier to you. So again, just speaking with a parent or guardian, speaking with a trusted adult, a friend, to have someone help you make that call or enroll in counseling online. Taking that step is worth it. Things do get better. So I just want to remind everyone that asking for help is not a weakness, it is a strength. Thank you.
Well, thank you, ladies. And we would like to thank all of our speakers today who came out to educate us further on so many different aspects of life. And of course, we want to thank you for taking the time to educate yourself. And as you've probably seen multiple times throughout this video, we want you to have an opportunity to win some awesome prizes with an Amazon Alexa enabled smart speaker. So if you click under this video, I'm pointing as if you can see that, there's a red little bar there. Click on there, fill out that form that we talked about, and get registered to win that smart speaker, because we appreciate you taking the time to listen to this program. One last time, we would like to thank all of our sponsors for making this happen. We'd like to thank our minor sponsors of Coca-Cola Bottling, Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce, Central Dakota Eye Care, Dakota Plains Federal Credit Union, Stonkin, Lingau, Walti, Jones LLP, The Cool Spot, Red Rosa Italian Grill, Lariat Lanes, Richie Z's Brickhouse Barbecue, Cowboys Country Store, May Adams Law Firm, The Right Turn, Conrad Law Prof LLCs, Lee Real Estate, Golden Buffalo Casino, St. Peter's and Paul's Catholic Church, Oahe Federal Credit Union, Pierre Regional Airport, and River City's Public Transit. Now we would like to thank our major sponsors of the 2021 Think and Drive Stay Alive program. We had CHS River Plains, South Dakota, Office of Highway Safety, Pipe Service Expert, Fisher Rounds and Associates, Avera St. Mary's Hospital, Pure Family Dental, Beck Motors, the Casey Tibbs South Dakota Rodeo Center, Dunes Golf, South Dakota Department of Transportation, and Dakota Prairie Bank. Thank you again for watching this year's program. If you haven't already, make sure you check out the link below to get registered to win one of our several Amazon-enabled skilled products. My name is Paisley Dunn, and have a fantastic day.